and this will be a little bit chaotic. I don't think it's scratchy at all. I actually just discovered that now. That happens. I didn't like knitting with them. Ooh, where should I continue? Way too much brushed alpaca silk. It is what it is. Hello and welcome to another video. Today I thought we are doing something that actually is also good for me, since we are going through my yarn stash today, and I wanted to show you what I have in my yarn stash. And it is good for me in a sense that I am reminded of what I have and what I still need to use up before I buy new yarn. So yes, I'm really excited. My stash is one drawer of yarn, and I have a rule to myself that I'm not allowed to buy any new yarn until there is some space in that drawer. So I think it is not too crazy at the moment, but we will see how it develops and how much I get out of there during that video, so we will see. I am wearing my Never Ending Story sweater today. This is a pattern from Paula Strickt or Paula Knits. I think on Ravelry she is called Susanne Müller. So yes, I really like it. It's knitted in a cotton merino blend. I think we will start right away. And let's get into the yarn stash. Okay, I got myself a little box to take the yarn from the drawer over here. I wanted to start with two things that I have still in whole skeins, and I don't know if that counts as stashed, because this is yarn for a project that I'm currently knitting up. Actually, I have it right over here, so let me show you. That is the yarn combination that I'm using for this beauty. And this is the Winter Pearl sweater. I actually talked about it on my knitting podcast that I filmed a while ago, so if you're interested, look it up over there. So I guess I will use all of that up for that project. It's this beautiful alpaca yarn from Drops. I have never knitted with that one before, and I have to say I love it. It's so fluffy, so cozy, and I can't wait to wear the sweater that I'm knitting up with this yarn, so that is quite exciting. And the other yarn that I'm using for this sweater is the Drops Kit Silk in the color Marzipan. And I don't know, I've heard from some people that they find that the Drops Kit Silk is too scratchy for them. I have to say I'm a very scratchy tolerant, but I don't think it's scratchy at all. I heard that from people that are actually also very tolerant in terms of scratchiness. So I don't know, I think for me it's fine. And paired with the alpaca, which is very soft and fluffy itself, it's even more soft and fluffy. I don't know how to describe, but we will see. I also have knitted little scarves with Drops Kit Silk, and I have absolutely no problem wearing them. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. Let me know if Kit Silk is too scratchy for you or if it's okay. Another one where I only have one whole skein left is this one. It's Drops Fable in, I don't know what the name of the color is, but the number is the 121. And I am also currently knitting something with that, which I also have over here. Since that is a sock yarn, I am also knitting a sock with it, and this is a sock I'm knitting for myself actually, and it's waiting to be knitted up as the second sock. Again, I don't know if that counts as stashed just now. I mean, after I finish the socks and I have the leftover yarn, of course, then it counts, but like that, I don't know. But what definitely counts as stashed, because I'm not using it at the moment, but I have a plan for it already, is, and I think I also showed that one in my knitting podcast during the acquisitions part, and it is the Drops Air in this beautiful grey color. As you might have noticed, I'm not the most colorful person when it comes to knits because I like to knit in colors where I know that I actually would wear them. I am all here for greens and greenish things. I mean, that is more of a turquoise. I like to knit in nude colors and green. That's basically it. I have that one, and I think I also talked a lot about it in my knitting podcast, so I will keep it short. I want to make a sweater. I actually already know which type of sweater, so this one is just waiting for me to have enough time and patience to I think that is all the skeins that I have actual plans for. Okay, on to the next category, which is probably the one that holds the most space in my yarn stash. And this category is called skeins that are whole, but I don't have plans for them yet. I guess that's a good name, because that's basically what it is. I have these whole skeins, or a group of skeins, where I don't know what I want to do with them just yet, but they are just lying in my stash because I thought they were pretty. Or actually, they might also be some leftovers from other projects that I had. I guess we will start with those. That was a package that I bought from Aldi, and it's sock yarn. And I already made some socks out of this color, and I have 2 whole skeins of this color left. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the colors, but I didn't like knitting with them that much. But that might also be because I made these socks before I got my sock knitting needles, and knitting those with DPNs was just pain, and I didn't like it. And I also don't like magic loop, if you're wondering. I just don't enjoy knitting with it, especially if that is on like 2.5 millimeters. But yes, I think those are going to be socks one day. We will see. But that is not for now, because I have way too many fun projects in my mind that I want to knit. Going on with sock yarn, I don't know if you are familiar with the store that is called Action. They always have so much fun stuff, actually a lot of crafty stuff as well. And they had this fun kind of self-striping yarn which contains cotton and acrylic, so I guess it'll make a nice sock yarn as well. Yeah, and it is 150 grams. I think I can even make 2 pair of socks of this one. But yes, I quite like it. It is quite soft. I think socks are nice projects to bring with you while you're traveling or something like that. But I am just not knitting them at home, so we will see what I make with this one. Actually, I want to go on with the sock yarn, but I don't know where I put the other one. I have this kind of Christmas themed sock yarn, which I showed you in my knitting podcast as well. I can't find it at the moment. It should be somewhere, but I don't know. But if you're interested on how it looks, go watch my knitting podcast. I talk about it there as well. And since we're talking about my knitting podcast and what I mentioned there as well, we have this beauty, and it's big. It is really big. It's the Gomitolo Molto from Lana Grossa. It is beautiful. I like the colors. As I said in my knitting podcast, I just haven't found the right project. So yes, that is my problem with this one. But I am confident that we will find the right one in time. Going on, I am now left with a lot of skeins where I only have 1 or 2, or have too many for like a small project, and at the same time it's too less for a bigger project. Let me start with that one. I saw it online. It's nothing special. It was on sale. I wanted to try the yarn, and it is really beautiful. And I don't have the right project for it yet. It is just that simple white merino from Malabrigo, and it is so soft, and it is 100 grams, and I don't know what I should do with that one. I could do like a hat or a beanie, but I don't wear hats that much, so I'm not sure about that. It's really soft, and I think it will keep me really warm if I wear that as a hat, but I don't know. We will see. Another thing that I bought, where I just bought it because it was beautiful. You know how buying yarn and knitting it up or crocheting it up are two whole different hobbies? So this is, oh, I lost the tag. I don't quite remember what that one was called, and I don't remember the brand of this yarn, but it's this very beautiful unspun yarn, and I don't know what I want to do with that, but it is so nice, but it is so delicate and I am afraid to break it if I use it up, because right now, I don't know if you can see, but if I was to like just pull on it now, you see? That happens because it's unspun, obviously. So I don't know what I want to knit with that. It feels like it is 100 grams, so yeah, I don't know. And again, neutral color, of course. Okay, let's go on with that one, I guess. This is really pretty. I got that in a sale from a yarn store that was like closing off and wanted to get rid of all its yarn. As I told you earlier, if I'm knitting with colors, it will be green. And it's actually also from Lana Grossa. It's from their Linea Pura line, and I think the yarn is called Solo Lino. And the colorway is 051. It is the perfect yarn for a summer top. It contains 80% of recycled linen and then 20% of pure linen, and it actually knits up very nice. I started a summer top with this yarn earlier this year, but I just didn't like the pattern that I chose. So I unraveled it, and now I'm left with a top quantity of this beautiful yarn. Let me know if you have any suggestions, because I really want to knit that up, maybe in spring next year. Also, something that I bought, which isn't like a leftover from a project that I did, is this beautiful yarn. It is so nice, and I just don't know what to do with them because I only have 2 skeins. This is also Lana Grossa. I also bought that in the yarn shop that was closing off, and it is their Setasuri. It contains 69% alpaca and 31% silk, so it is extremely soft. And again, a very nude color, which I really like, but I just don't know what to do with it because I only have these 2 skeins. These are still waiting for the perfect project, and as long as I don't have the most perfect one, they will just sit in my stash. It is what it is. Next up, this category is getting way too long, but next up, also bought at the same yarn store as the 2 before, is this one. This is the silk hair from Lana Grossa, and it is 70% mohair and 30% silk. It is so soft. Again, I am not too itchy with yarn, so I don't know if for people who are a little bit more sensitive to itchiness, this would be too itchy, but I think that the silk hair from Lana Grossa is more on the soft side. So yes, I also didn't find the right project for that one yet. I had that before I knitted up the sweater, and I thought that this would match perfectly, so I don't know. And I actually, when we're here, I am just going to show you, I actually have some of the yarn left from this sweater, so I could pair it up with 1 skein, but then I would have 1 skein left. It is complicated, but I really like these 2. I also thought about pairing it up with the Setasuri that I have, but I don't know, I'm not sure about that. So they're laying in my stash until I find the perfect pattern, as with the 20 skeins before that, but whatever. Okay, I showed that already. I think I will continue with that one. This is, and this here, but this is some leftover yarn that I have from this sweater here. It is the Drops Cotton Merino in, I think the color was called Pistachio Ice, but I'm not sure. It is the number 32, and I really love the yarn. I really love knitting with Drops Cotton Merino. It is such a nice light yarn that you can wear perfectly during summertime in those colder summer nights, but it's also really keeping you warm during the fall times and maybe even winter. I just love it, and it knits up so beautifully. So I don't know what I should do with that one. I think that is just about enough to knit a beanie or a hat, but I'm not sure about that because I don't know if that would be a color for a beanie that I would wear. But, and here we go on to the next skein. I still have the same yarn in another color. This is the Drops Cotton Merino in the color 1. So I think it's the natural color. And I also knitted a sweater with that one, the sneak sweater. I made a short about that sweater here on YouTube, so if you want to see how the sneak sweater looks, go and check that one out. But since I have 2 skeins and roughly the same amount of like just leftover, I am also thinking about pairing that up because I think that these 2 colors also work perfectly well together, but I don't know about that, so they have to wait. Let me go on to something that I have in my stash and that I want to knit up so badly, but I don't know what I should knit with it. It is this leftover brushed alpaca silk in the color black. This is the brushed alpaca silk from Drops. It is 77% alpaca and 23% silk. It is so soft, I love it. I made a sweater for my mum out of that one. That was quite in the beginning where I didn't really know how to calculate how much yarn I need for one sweater. So I ended up with way too much brushed alpaca silk. So I have 4 skeins left of the brushed alpaca and I don't know what to do with it because I don't know if I could pull off a slip over with this amount of yarn, because I'd really love another slip over, and especially a black slip over, because you can wear that with everything. But I don't know if 4 skeins of that one would be enough. One skein is 25 grams and 25 grams are roughly 140 meters. So let me know if you would think that I could pull off a slip over. We have some beautiful black merino from that project left over as well. It's the Drops Extra Fine Merino. I love it a lot. I've learned that this merino wool grows a lot when blocking. That is why I held it together with another yarn the second time that I knit it up. And then it worked out perfectly. It was just fine and it blocked beautifully. I am not quite sure what to make with that one. I mean, I have an idea and I actually bought yarn for that idea, which I will show you in a second. But yeah, as I said, I'm not sure. The idea that I had was buying a contrast color, which would be this white merino extra fine, and I could make some beautiful colorwork mittens, for example. Because I also have, okay, and now it gets a little bit hard for me. As you can see, I have 3 skeins of darker colors left, and now I bought 3 skeins of white. So what my idea was, I could knit color work with this combination, because the pattern that I looked up asked for 100 grams of the one color and 50 grams of the other. That could work. And then I bought the other 2 white, because I have roughly about 50 grams of this green merino. I could work these 3 up. one of these packs would make 2 mittens, so I could knit 2 pair. And I'm thinking about gifting one of them, but I'm not sure about that. Let me put that aside. Oh, I found the Christmas socks. But as I said, go and watch my knitting podcast if you want to know more about that one. Similar to the black brushed alpaca silk, I also have a lot of green alpaca silk. I don't know what I should do with that. I really love the green. I really love the shade of that green. And the light is really throwing me off right now. I am so sorry, but it is changing like every 2 seconds. I hope it isn't too bad in the camera. I also thought about pairing it with the black one because then I would have enough to even make a sweater or something. But I'm not sure. I don't like how the green and the black pairs up. I also don't know if I even want the full sweater of brushed alpaca silk. But I also wouldn't want a green slip over, so I really have no idea what to make with these. So if you have an idea, please let me know. Next. Actually, last but not least, because that is the last thing from this category, then we go on to the leftovers. I actually just discovered that now. This is Drops Kid Silk in this darker gray brownish color. This is actually the color where I said that I knitted a scarf, and so I don't know if that's only the color, because sometimes that's the case that some colors are softer than others, but I don't know. Anyways, I have about 2 skeins left of that. Nice to know that I still had that. Okay, let's continue with the leftovers, and this will be a little bit chaotic because I don't know about you, but I am a person that keeps every single little leftover piece of yarn, even if it's only like 3 meters long, because I never know. I mean, especially if it's left over from a skein of yarn where I still have one complete skein. I like to keep it because you never know. Maybe I start a project with that one skein and then I only need like a little bit more to finish the bind off or something, and then I'm like, hey, good that I kept this one tiny bit of leftover yarn from 2 years ago. Now I can finish it and don't have to buy a whole another skein. So yes, I also do have some larger leftovers. And those are actually leftovers from years where I was a total beginner, so way back then. Has to be 10 years. But yeah, we have that one. For example, you might have guessed that this is nothing that I've bought recently because of the color. It's a very beautiful color and there's nothing wrong with it, but right now I wouldn't wear anything with that one. So I don't know what I should do with that. Maybe I would knit my brother a hat. Maybe he would wear this, but I'm not sure. And I'm also not into knitting with yarn that big anymore. So yeah, I just have it in my stash and I just don't do anything with it. Ooh, where should I continue? Let's do that one. And I'm realizing just now that I haven't mentioned, I think I have one whole skein of that one left, but I didn't find it. We will see. That should be the Perle yarn from Lana Grossa, and I got that because I wrote a pattern for mittens quite a while back, and I bought some yarn to check if that pattern works out. I wanted to knit myself another pair of mittens from that yarn, and I knitted the first one already, worked out quite nicely, but I didn't do the second one. So okay, let's get on with this one. This is actually some leftover sock yarn. That is Drops Fable in some type of grey, obviously. I've knitted some socks with that one that I'm actually gifting someone. That is a little bit less than 25 grams. So I could knit another pair of socks with that one if I would make the ankle a little bit less high. But I don't know, because maybe I could pair it with that one. This is also Drops Fable in this nice blue, and I also have a second skein of that, or a second like rest of that. But yes, so I'm not sure. I could pair this maybe quite nicely if I made the heel in this nice blue color, or just the ankle part in this blue color. I don't know, but this will be a sock. Going on. Also this one here, this is a very old yarn. It's also from like way back then when I learned knitting, and it's a cotton yarn, and I actually made a cloth from it that I'm using in the kitchen, and I still have some of it left. It looks more than I actually have left because I took the yarn from the middle, but yes, I don't know what I want to do with that. I have all of this. I have some more. I just found some more. But anyways, I don't know what I should do with that, because that is not enough to make anything, I guess. I haven't weighed it, so I don't know how many grams this is, but it is also way too much to throw it away, so I am just keeping it in my stash. So if you have ideas what to make with that, tell me, please. I also have like these little leftovers from like the bigger skeins that I just showed you. There is something here, another one from the cotton merino. I won't get too much into those because I talked about what that is early on. Also, I have quite a bit much left over from this Drops Lima, and I don't know what I should make out of that one, but I think it is enough to make some nice fingerless mittens. Well, I haven't started yet because I have way too many projects on my needles as it is. Another little something where I have no idea what I should do with that is this. This is some leftover from Drops Andes, I guess. Again, way too much to throw it away, but way too little to do anything with that. I will also weigh that one. Actually, all of the stuff where I'm not sure how much it weighs and where I have still hopes that I one day will find a pattern to do with that one, I will put the weight somewhere over here. Then something where I also hope that I will find a nice little pattern for it is this leftover cotton. It is Drop Saffron in the color moss green, I guess. I made a t-shirt from it. I spoke about that t-shirt in my knitting podcast as well. So yes, I have about this much left and I don't know what I should do with that. I mean, of course, I could do another washcloth, but do I want to do another washcloth? I'd say no, but we will see. Over here, I have quite a nice amount of some other Drops Merino Extra Fine, and I actually thought about making like a baby hat with that one, but I'm not sure if that is enough. But on the other hand, this is not such a fun color. I don't know if you would want to have a baby knit in that color. Yes, I also have about the same amount left of this gray color. It's also Drops Merino Extra Fine. I have to sew that. That is terrible. But anyways, I've started to knit a little hat, or crochet. I crocheted a little hat from it, but I don't know. I think it's too little, and I think I'm going to unravel it. I thought that with this nice little green edge, I could make it a little bit more baby worthy, a little bit more like a baby knit. It is too small, and I have way too much left. I don't know what to do with that. I really have to like cake that, because this is a mess. This is a mess, and there are so many loose ends, and there are probably so many strands that, like, why is that in here? Why? I can throw that away, and I will. I guess this is it. I will pack everything back into the drawer. I'll try to sort everything, and I try to make it as clean as aesthetically as possible, and then afterwards I show you. Also, the problem with having my yarn in a drawer is that I can only see what's like on top, so I will try to sort it in a way where I can see every single skein of yarn that I have, but we will see how that works. So yes, we will see each other again after I sort it, and then this might be it for now. I was actually already editing this video when I realized that I have no audio on the outro. So here we are. Yeah, that was it for today's video. I hope you liked it. It was quite a bit much for me going through all my yarns, so maybe you got some inspiration, maybe you saw some yarn that you didn't know before. If you have any questions about any yarn, I know that I haven't talked about all the details on every single yarn that I had. Just ask me in the comments. I am happy to respond to all of my comments. If you liked it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this channel, of these kinds of videos, then I would be happy about a follow. So yes, that is it for today. We will see each other again in the next video, and until then, happy knitting and goodbye.